Since time immemorial, mankind has developed a symbol that seems to somehow map the topology of the psyche, circumscribing its apparent phenomenology within an image. The variations of this symbol are innumerable, much like the diverse psychological states it represents. Yet certain fundamental characteristics persist with astonishing coherence and universality, both in form and meaning, underscoring the collective dimension of the psyche. Eastern cultures refer to these symbols as mandalas, using them with religious, magical, or psycho-spiritual intent. Their purpose is to invoke order, orientation, and protection through concentration, that is, contemplation or meditation on the center. Furthermore, mandalas seem to provide a safe container for whatever psychic experience is at hand, serving as a vessel where one's transformation can occur by establishing a symbolic connection to a transcendental principle, the self, offering a possibility for psychological renewal. In essence, we can say that the mandala functions as a therapeutic medium, guiding us through the unfathomable waters of the psyche and the inevitable transformations that life demands. One of the most prominent motifs in mandalas is the problem of opposites, or more specifically, their reconciliation, a problem that has eternally confounded and tormented the conscious mind. In mandalas, the problem is typically addressed through a central element that serves as both the source and ordering principle of the opposites, representing a whole or enfolding totality that reconciles them in a synthesis. In psychological terms, this coincidentia oppositorum, reflected in each mandala, symbolizes a particular aspect of the archetype of the self and its relationship to the conscious ego, the broader personal domain of the psyche, and the deeper archetypal realm of the collective unconscious. By engaging with these images, we find a way to process a phenomenology that is largely beyond the grasp of reason and the scope of language, the way of the symbol. The elements composing these images also follow recurring formulations while conveying the dynamic interplay between the one and the many, or, in psychological verbiage, between the atemporal, non-local unconscious whole and its discrete phenomena as perceived by our conscious egos. For example, these formulations typically include a spherical or circular element at the center, normally rotating or spiraling, and often accompanied by a quadratic form, either inside or outside. Four figures are also frequently involved in connection to these two more fundamental ones, that is, the many relating to the one. After decades of empirical research and historical investigation, Jung identified the recurring fourfold pattern in mandalas, dreams, and other visionary content as representing a sort of wholeness or completeness in discrete reality, frequently alluding to the initial state of wholeness where the elements are separated or polarized. The tetrad thus stands as a temporal and local counterpart to the transcendental whole of the one, the monad, which exists outside time and space. For example, in older cosmologies, the idea of the cosmos being composed of four elements, each a manifestation of a more fundamental quintessence, reflects this concept. To Jung, these représentations collectives revealed fundamental aspects of the psyche. In this context, he hypothesized that the monad and the tetrad could express the dynamics between a psychic whole and the psychic's four functions, the former enfolding and centering the latter, while the latter enabling us to actualize the transcendental totality of the former into an experience of relative wholeness or completeness.